We are live, although we are not receiving data fast enough. Here we go again. But good evening. So I'm not using OBS today. I am using StreamYard. So it's going to be a little bit different. Everything's different about today. You might also notice that I'm sitting in a different place, and I'm not even looking at my camera. Sorry, hi, camera's over here. Lots of change, lots is happening. So lots to talk about. And I have a special guest today, which I'm going to introduce soon. Not yet, but I thought I'd get the hellos out of the way first. So yes, I'm sorry that if I'm looking at my computer, I'm not going to be looking at the camera. And natural light, I have a window in front of me and it's open. Wow, how crazy is that? And I got a haircut. Yay! So it's yes, I'm using StreamYard. You can see by the little powered StreamYard icon. It's the first time I'm using it. If it works out okay, I will probably buy a subscription to it. Sound is a bit low, probably because it's coming through my my ears were lowered. Yes, my ears were lowered. I don't think I can make my microphone any louder. It's probably just a bit too far away from me. Let me have a look and see if I can. I'm probably going to have to move my camera if I'm going to do that. Oh well, here we go. I'll still do a bit of rearranging. It's part of the whole reset up. See if I can get this on. Sorry about the moving camera. We'll get there in a second. Okay, so is that a bit better with the audio? Yeah, it's probably just a bit soft. So it's not, so yeah, it's 720p, but it's nothing to do with the free version. I don't believe the paid version goes to 1080p either. It seems to all be just 720p, which is a bit frustrating. Not quite what I would want, but it seems that StreamYard is the only tool at the moment that we can use to do multi-person streaming now that Hangouts is gone. Anyway, let me, look, you're trying to strangle us. Sorry. I'm going to do a quick roll call. So hi to everyone. Hello, James. Hey, Michael. Hey, Marin. Oh, lots of chatting about Marin's dead. Tiny Pico. Whoops, sorry. Hey, Ezzy. Scrolling as quick as I can. Peter S is in the house. Hello, Peter. Haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're doing well. Yes, procrastinate now. Don't put it off. That is my motto always. Death Shaker. Hello. Hey, Christian. Hey, Embedded Hobbyist. Paul the Count is here. Oh, I'm here. G1 Tech. Hello, Tabletronics. Andy Callaway. Hey, Simon. Andy's here. Another Andy. Lots of Andys. Hey, Johnny. Sent you a package yesterday, Johnny. Hope you get it soon. Hey, Crazy Roops. Hey, Paul. Zoom. Oh, Adam is here. Hello, Adam. Hey, HMX. Yes, the view is very different. Hey, Christos is here. Hello. Hey, Greg. Did you cool things? Yes, I've moved. We'll talk about that in a second. Yes, max 720p. Hey, oi, oi. Hello, Mr. Watts. Hey, James. Hey, John. Hey, Alex. And another John. So many Johns. And David. Hey, David. Christian saying hello again. You can say hello twice. That's fine. Audio is loud, not crisp, so to speak. Lots of squeaking. Maybe there's a mouse in my office. Hey, the only alien. And Paul the Curtains. Wow, how many people? Hey, Marco. Other screens in the bottom right where you used to stream from. Other screens in the bottom right. Yes. I'll talk about it in a second. Hang on. No word from, yeah, so Crowd Supply shipped out all the pre-orders already. Now they're going for the, I'll explain it in a second. Hey, Michael. Hey, Gary. Everyone's trying to guess who's gonna be the special guest. Hey, Bit Bastili. Of course, it was a clickbait title. Of course it was. That's what you do on YouTube. So I have moved. I've moved my office. Well, I've moved my seat in my office. I've rearranged my whole office. Well, I'm still rearranging. I feel weird talking to the camera. I'm still rearranging the office, but I'm currently now sitting at the other end of my office, which sounds a bit weird. I'm going to do a proper office tour once it's all finished. It's not finished yet, but it's getting close. Some of you might have seen some pictures on Twitter as I was doing the work. But my office now is 100 times more amazing, but I'm very worried that it's more impractical from a working than it was before. Hey, Maxine Tarandi. Hey, Andy Mouse. So it is a strange new view, and I need to stick a nice, big, I can't point. Yeah, the camera's back to front. I need to stick a nice big logo. I need to make something for the wall. Something blingy, but I haven't got to that yet. So have you moved for better natural lighting? No, that was just a side effect. I've moved to give myself more space and to, I don't know, just to be happier, I guess. I just really like, so basically my office, like, most of you will know, I'm not I love change and I hate change. I love learning new things and doing new things and all that type of things. But I'm also a creature of habit where, it takes a lot for me to make other changes. So my office was still very much set up like it was when it was a game studio. And so the two standing desks that I had, that many of you would have seen in the background on the streams and stuff, they were the same places they were before that. Like one was mine and one was a desk that one of my staff used to stand at. And they just became dumping grounds for all my projects and parts and stuff. And so I felt like I was always cramped in the back desk, doing all my work with all my tools on there in this tiny space, in the kind of stuck in the corner in the dark end. And I wasn't utilizing the rest of the space properly. And I decided, you know what? It's about time, now that the massive Tiny Pico production was done, that I, didn't feel like I was just occupying one corner of the room and the rest of it was dumping. I felt like I wanted to occupy the whole room. And so I did a complete rearrange, and I've even been attaching things to the walls. Many of you will know how much I had a problem with attaching things to walls, but no, I'm over that now and I'm very happy. Hey, Ian, good morning. A subscriber counter that doesn't show the right sub count. Yes, I could do that. So I do have a special guest today, which is pretty cool. He is coming on to show you something that he made, something that I have spoken about before, something that I also have here. And it's very cool, but I figured that the best person to demo it would be this person. Spring is a good time for change. Yeah, look, change is nice. Change, as I say, a change is as good as a holiday. And I feel quite refreshed after this. I felt like, as I said, it was just I needed a fresh start in terms of the space. And the fact that there's natural light and stuff is just a bonus. And plus, my office it wasn't filthy as in dirty, but it was like dusty and stuff. There were, some shelves. Like I still had shelves in my corner over here where I'm sitting, where I'm facing, that had some consoles on it that I haven't even turned on in 2 years, that hadn't, they were stuck behind a desk. I couldn't even get to them, and they were just covered in dust. So it gave me an opportunity to clean the whole. We scrubbed the whole office, Yaz and I. It's been pretty full on, and I've also now got 5 times as much storage space as I had before, utilizing the space much better. So it's really good. Hey, Helmut. So we're talking about getting a play button for the wall. Yeah, I'm a little bit far away from the play button, unfortunately. I don't think I'm ever going to get there. So yes, So I apologize for 720p, and hopefully the audio will be okay. And yes, we should, I'm just going to have another drink. Yeah, Johnny's smashing the subs, smashing it. So shall we introduce our guest today? I think we shall, because I don't really have, I don't have a lot to show myself today. I was thinking of doing some building stuff, but I can't, like, because I'm not using OBS. Oh, let me just get rid of my mail, because it's going to keep pinging me. Yeah, because I'm not using OBS, it's not easy to switch cameras and stuff. But I've got to, hopefully, when I show you when I do a workshop tour, once it's all set up, you'll see that I can actually now, I've got room on my desk for my camera and my microscope and everything at the same time. I can have them all on and I don't have to pull things apart. So it's going to be much easier to stream from and to record videos from going forward, which is really good. Okay, so without any further ado, back on the coffee. Yes, that's okay. Let's introduce our guest. So everyone, let's do a nice warm welcome for. Are you ready? That ready wasn't for the community. That was ready for the guest. Just warning the guest. Okay, I can see a nod. A nice warm welcome for Adam.
Hey, Sam, how are you going?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Nice and early in the morning.
Hey, there's a clap. Yay. So before we go any further, can anyone hear any echo from Adam talking?
This is me talking. Hopefully there's no echo.
Sounds great. No echo. Excellent.
Awesome. G'day, everyone in chat.
So Adam is the designer and maker of the, let me just lift it up, the picoAudio. Now, I've mentioned this a few times on the streams and I've shown the website. And what I'll do just quickly is switch to Adam's screen and he can show you what it is and have a bit of a chat about what it is. But it's an audio board for the Tiny Pico. So let me just, here you go, Adam. Take it away.
Yeah, g'day. All right, so I run a little website called ak74.com and I make a couple of different things at the moment. One of which is a picoAudio, which is an audio board dedicated specifically for the Tiny Pico. I saw what Sion was doing on YouTube and got in contact with him. I don't know, how long ago do you think it was, Sion?
It was near the start of the campaign. So the campaign had already launched. I think it was running, wasn't it? But it was really early on. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got my hands on a Tiny Pico and I started working on this project. Just got a notification for your stream. So what is it? It's this is probably the easiest way to see it. So it's a I2S digital audio board. It has a built-in SD card for reading MP3 files and WAV files and for recording audio. It has a built-in I2S DAC, a stereo amplifier, like a 3.7 watt stereo amplifier with stereo screw terminals. It has a dedicated headphone amplifier, so you can directly connect up headphones without getting any distortion or anything like that. It has a GPIO expander because I'm utilizing a lot of the pins on the Tiny Pico. I wanted to be able to include a number of buttons and LED drivers and the like. So I put a GPIO extender directly on the board as well. And it also has a MEMS mic, so the ability to record audio as well, which is also I2S.
So that is a completely feature-packed audio board. It's not just like a, my little audio shield that just does some, basic audio out. This is a full-on audio out, audio in, storage, internet control. So I know Adam's going to demo it properly, but I've actually been, I've got the first one. Well, I got the second one, I guess. Adam's got the first one. And it's now my music player in my office. I'm not even using music on my computer anymore. I spent the whole day yesterday just listening to internet radio on mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch back to, for us for the moment, I'm going to turn mine on. So just to show everyone, obviously it's powered from USB, and I've got a line out going from the headphones. So I'm not using the speaker screw terminals, I'm just using the headphones, but I'm using it just in a little tiny JBL portable speaker. So it's just a battery speaker that you can charge. I'm just going to turn it on, and you're going to listen to this thing. So this is internet radio. Sorry, it's trance.
Sounds like psytrance. Need some LEDs going.
Yeah. So let me just, I'm just going to pause that. So on the side, I know, again, Adam's going to demo it. I'm just going to go big on me just for a moment so everyone can see this. So on the side of the board, I've got sideways buttons. I'm not sure if you're shipping sideways or top buttons, but there's some buttons on the side. So you got play and pause, you got next track, previous track. And all these buttons, they obviously that's the demo code that Adam supplies, but it's also got, I mean, you can just program them to do what you want. So I can change tracks, change different radio stations from these and play and pause. So I just hit the pause button. I can hit it again to play, which is really nice.
There's not a lot of buffer in there.
No, there's no buffer. That's okay. That's fine. Now what I'm also going to do, I'm just going to unplug it. I've actually got 2 tiny picos set up just so I don't have to flash it. I'm just going to quickly show you this as well. So I've got another tiny pico here. I'm using one that's got a really old board that's got a bust. It's got no antenna on it. It's actually Matt Trentini's. Anyway, long story. So this way I don't have to just reflash it. And so this one, I'm just going to plug it in. Just wait a second. You can see down the bottom here, there's a power light and that flashing red light. So this is now loading and playing MP3s off the SD card. So these are royalty-free MP3s, so I'm not going to get in trouble. It's just, the sound quality is just amazing. Like, it really is. And this is just a crappy speaker, right? Okay, there we go. It really is like a fantastic quality audio board. And I've not even started playing with the microphone yet. And Adam's got a really cool demo.
Digicool, I've got a direct line in from my mixer that I can switch to, so we'll be able to hear the audio coming directly out of the board. And if you want to switch back to my desktop for a second, Sion.
Yep.
If you go to the website.
No, 1 second, Adam. So yeah, just I'm just playing mine through the microphone on my camera, right? I mean, I know. Yeah, Adam will demo it properly. So.
I don't know about properly, but I'll demo it.
Better.
Okay, so if you go to the website and click on more information, and if you scroll down here, you can see some recordings that I've done through a DAC on my PC. So the recording chain has been basically directly from the MP3, coming out of the picoAudio, coming out of the headphone amplifier, directly into a digital DAC on a mixer board, and straight to a WAV file. So the files are completely unprocessed. So it's probably the best representation of the sound. Obviously, whatever you play it on is going to be the factor for what you hear. So you can play those directly on the website if you want to hear those. But I've also I'll do a demo of some files that Sion sent me, and I'll send them directly into the stream as well. I might start off with that just so you can get an idea of what it sounds like directly.
Sure.
I'm just going to move my camera for a sec. Do you want to switch back?
Yep.
So there's mine.
Before you play it, so just quickly, something we should mention is that there's full support in the demo library for driving both an LCD display, like you can see there. Adam's driving that through I2C, and a TFT. So he's going to show you demos of both of those, I hope, today, aren't you? Yeah, I think so.
Yep, I should be able to. It'll be a little bit messy with the TFT, but I should be able to get it going.
Nice track. What's that? Adam, can you get closer to the LCD?
So could you hear that at all, Sam?
Yeah, that was great. That sounded fantastic.
Yeah, so it's just a idea of the direct audio. I'm not sure how long you really want to listen to it for.
That's enough. Can you get closer to the LCD just to show what data's on there? Or can you get this LCD to the camera? It's a bit hard to see, but yeah, it's a bit blown out. Yeah. So Adam's just displaying MP3 data on there.
So it's basically just pulling out the ID3 tags from the system. You want to switch back to my desktop.
Yep.
So that's a terminal that's hooked up to it. So it's spewing a lot of information out from a debug perspective onto the serial terminal. So you can see that it initially does a recursive scan of an MP3 folder, finds any MP3 files that are there, builds like a linked list of all those files, and then just sits there cycling through them. You can see like the type of information that you get out of there, the artist, the title, the album, the year, basically any ID3 tags, even custom tags that you put in there, anything other than an image is accessible. And I might add image access to it at some stage. And I saw someone say FFT spectrum analyzer for the win.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
The FFT, I didn't actually manage to get it put back into the system. I will show this, which is the original prototype. Unfortunately, I haven't put this code back into it yet, but it'll give you an idea of what I'm working on there.
What were you doing, slacker? Come on.
I was trying to figure out how to mail things overseas. So you can see that is a FFT spectrum analyzer and simple VU meters. This might be of some interest as well. This is actually the original prototype that I sent to Sion, the video that I sent to Sion, just to give him an idea of what it was that I was creating. So this is functionally the same as this. So it's a number of different prototype boards, some from Adafruit, some that I had to make myself. And yeah, that one's a little bit of a mess. And that's, let's grab, that ended up collapsing down to,
yeah, let me just,
to that.
Oh, you should ship that. You should make those and ship those ones.
Yeah.
What could go wrong in the mail with that?
So to get it down to this, which was a lot more simple than what I was showing before, I had to make a number of different boards. So I made my own little GPIO extender, my own SD card reader, and my own headphone amplifier, breakout board, and a couple other different boards just to get the prototype going.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I'm selling all of those as well as separate products, if anyone's interested in the individual products.
Cool. So do you want to show the microphone stuff?
Yeah.
Do we have, is Julian in this? I don't think.
I was going to ask whether Julian was here.
No, I don't think Julian's here. That's a shame. Adam made a demo for Julian.
I made something just for Julian.
Well, it's for I think pretty much everyone on the stream here follows Julian, so they'll know exactly what it is. But it was a kind of would have been cute for Julian. Oh well.
So can anyone guess what it would be? Like I've made something as a demo for Julian. It's an audio project. It's Julian.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Johnny already guessed it. Low code
Did he?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
A Thai bride. Hey, Simon. Be nice.
What did Simon say?
A Thai bride.
That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh.
All right, maybe I'll start with this sample. I'm not sure, maybe flick back to my screen. People can see the code that I'm working with. So this is a little demo that I put together, which just shows how to record audio. I've wrapped a lot of functionality up in a picoAudio helper library. So things like initializing I2S and dealing with the SD card and those sorts of things are pretty much wrapped, and reading from the microphone and those sorts of things. So I'll just I don't use Arduino Studio. I find this just a little bit easier.
Except it takes forever to compile.
It does.
Johnny asked how long Julian's been working on his vocoder. I think I was 7 years old when he started. Yeah, I don't know, forever. He's been working on it forever, but he's getting really close now. For those that have been following his videos, he yeah, really, really close.
The microphone's a little bit soft. It needs like some software gain added to it, but you should be able to get an idea. It's really just a demo. A bit of fun.
If it ever compiles. Okay, so while we're waiting, no.
There's a lot of finger twiddling while waiting for this to compile.
We'll do it all in MicroPython. Come on, MicroPython for the win. No compiling.
If anyone wants to wrap it in MicroPython, I'd be more than glad to help.
Hey, Colin. Yeah, so just so you all know, Adam spent a lot of time putting together a whole lot of demo projects that shows off all the features of the board, but he's also built a library that wraps all the nasty stuff. So I mean, you can use all the the low-level stuff if you want to, but you can just use his library to do stuff much easier. And for those that aren't aware, I mean, obviously Adam's going to be selling this, or he's selling it on Tindie, but it's also open source. He's got all the design files and all the software on GitHub. I'll put links and everything to all of that in the description once the stream's over, so you'll be able to find it all, including the link to Tindie. But yeah, Adam's invested not just a humongous amount of time on the board and on the hardware, but also on the software as well. So,
yeah, I want to stress that the board's the primary product, and the software is really just for demonstrational purposes. So they're not complete applications. It's not a complete MP3 player or a complete net radio or anything like that, but they're good starting frameworks for people to explore and to start developing with the board. As Sion said, you don't need to use the library. You can hit it up directly as an I2S device. There's nothing stopping it from doing that. You can use it with any microcontroller, really, if you want to run wires. But I'd obviously strongly suggest it gets used with a tiny pico.
Well, it's going to be much easier to use with a tiny pico. Yeah,
just a little bit.
It's just compiling. Faster computer. We've got some complaints.
Okay, that's compiled and ready to go. I'm just going to switch my mic.
Everyone cross your fingers, this works.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me now? I sound like a robot. I'm a robot. I'm a robot.
I am a Julian, robot. That's really cool. So that's software vocoder happening real time to the microphone.
This is a software built machine vocoder.
Yeah, you got to say exterminate. Do exterminate.
Exterminate. Exterminate. You will be assimilated. You will be assimilated.
That's really cool. So yeah, so the microphone is, let me just, so I'm still working out how to use the software, but the microphone, it's a little MEMS microphone, and it's just that little, sorry, out of focus, just where my finger is there. it's a MEMS microphone on the back of the board and there's a hole on the board. So you're not really going to be able to see in there, but there's a little hole that the microphone comes through. So it's a pretty amazing little microphone.
So it's a digital microphone, obviously, rather than an analog microphone. It uses I2S as well. So basically you read data from it. It's 24-bit and 44.1 kilohertz audio. So it's pretty clean.
Yeah.
If you do there's a sample on there for recording to a WAV file, so you can record the WAV file out, and if you load it back up through, I don't know, Audacity or something like that, you'll see the noise floor is pretty low and it's pretty clear.
Yeah. Is that an ST? It's a MEMS mic, yeah, but is it an ST or is it, you know what brand?
What brand?
Off the top of your head. Is one of those Asian brands, or is it like from LCSC?
Oh, no. It's a Knowles is the brand.
Okay, cool. Someone just asking if it was an ST.
No, it's a Knowles mic. It's the SPH0645LM4H. Great name. So everything is detailed. There's a GitHub repository. Everything is available. So the board schematics, the PCB files. There's lots of information about, you know, the different parts that I've used and what their capabilities and specifications are.
Yeah, cool. And it's a really like full-on board. So I mean, this is the first from design to product that Adam's made, right? I mean, Adam's on a fairly similar trajectory to me in terms of in the hardware space. He obviously didn't come from a games background, maybe kind of a little bit earlier on, but still from the tech side and software moving into hardware. And this was like a really ambitious board for him to make. I've got to say, like, for anyone that ever gets to see one in real life, it puts, like, in terms of the complexity of build, it puts the Tiny Pico to shame in terms of how much stuff he's packed into this little space. And we've had many discussions about why he built it so small. Really, I mean, he built it small because he wanted the challenge of building it small, but there was no real reason to build. Like, all he's done is caused a lot of hard work for himself.
What I couldn't name it the picoAudio if it was large, Sion.
Well, it could be the Uber, whatever. Anyway, so there's also this little base. This is a 3D printed base. Adam's got the STL files for that on his GitHub as well, so you can print out a little 3D base for it. It's just there are M2.5 mounting holes on the board, so I've just got them screwed directly into the PLA. Oh, in this case, it's PET-G. So that way you don't scrape your tabletop with all the through hole soldering. And it's really great. Like, I'm trying to work out, like, I think what I'm going to do, maybe, where did I put them? Oh no, where did I put those speakers? I had them and I lost them. Okay, it doesn't matter. I've got some speakers that I got from Adafruit, and I think I'm going to build myself like an actual, like a music player, like a little, like a 3D printed boombox that I'm going to use this with. That I'll put some buttons on the outside for control, and I'm gonna, this is gonna be my new music player, I think. So
there's just talking about buttons and controls. There's 5 buttons on the side of the device, but the GPIO expander that's on board has 8 ports. So each one of those ports can either be used for a button or can be used to drive an LED. And there's user access to each one of the primary buttons as well. So you can just run a cable from the header on the board, connect a button to ground, push the button, away you go. So if you wanted to put it inside a case and have external buttons, you don't need to, have access to those tiny little buttons. They're really just there from a development perspective while you're working on the board. At least it gives you something to be able to control it, out of the box.
Yeah, cool. That's really cool. So I haven't tried plugging speakers into it yet. I will. The only reason I haven't yet is the speakers they've got a JST connector on the end, and I have to cut them. So I'll until I know exactly what I want to do with them, I don't want to cut that connector off just yet.
So I use little satellite speakers like this with it. So it's a 3.7 watt stereo amp, and it can easily drive, a decent speaker like this. And it's reasonably loud.
You call that a little speaker?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that they're much larger than your typical Adafruit speaker.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think the Adafruit speakers I've got, they're only small. They're like 5 watt or something, like little things. But I still think they'll sound pretty good. So there you go. So that is the picoAudio. So what I should do actually is just post some links into the chat while I remember, if I remember. I will put them on the description later, but I want to, if I can find it. I had them all open and now I've closed them. So Rob was just saying before about how rearranging means I can't find anything anymore, and it's actually true. I as crazy and messy as my office was before, I knew where every single thing was, and now I don't, because a lot of the reason I'm not doing an office tour yet is because I've got so much new storage space. Right now, nothing's put away properly. Everything has just been taken off the floor onto the shelves in the biggest mess ever. I need to go through and sort it all out. So I'm just gonna post a link. So this is the Tindie page, the picoAudio. So just to let everyone know, Adam's going to be releasing them in batches. So I think there's only going to be like 10, maybe 10 in the first batch.
Yeah, I released them last night, and a couple already went.
Right. Okay. Cool. So, and then there'll be another batch, but depending on how well they sell. I mean, it's not a. I think this is too cheap. I just put the link through. So it's $45 US plus shipping, and I personally think Adam should be selling it for $60 or $65 US. But that's okay. And it just really depends on how well they sell, to whether, Adam is not pick and placing them; he's manually building them. So
it's a lot of pieces. Everything's 0402 primarily. It's 4-layer board. It's time consuming to hand assemble.
Yeah. So if you do want one, grab one quick, or at least go on the wait list so Adam knows that you want one, because, yeah, as you know, as I've discussed many times in the past, especially with my Reflow Masters early on, is that it's quite a daunting thing to go out and invest to buy stacks of parts and boards and everything you need for a whole bunch of boards and end up not selling them. So I'm just trying to find where's your website? I've lost your website link. That's okay. I'm also going to post the GitHub link as well. Boom, boom, boom. I had it here. Here it is. Yeah, I mean, building these things for Adam would work out to way less than minimum wage.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
So I've also made some getting started guides as well. So if you look at the website and you go to the picoAudio page, there's a getting started guide button. And I maybe just switch to my screen just for 1 sec. Hang on. So on the website, on the picoAudio page, there's a getting started guide. So if you're interested in seeing how to hook it up and what you need to do to your development environment to prepare to be able to compile code for it, and getting it up and running with the SD card example and plugging in an LCD display and those sorts of things, then there's a little bit of a guide that I'm slowly building up.
Yeah. Now you're putting my documentation to shame. Thanks, Adam. Yeah. So Adam's put a lot of work into this. I mean, I know this sounds like an infomercial stream. It's really not meant to be. It's not meant to be a sales pitch about it. It's just a really interesting board, and it's a how do I put it? It's a really professional product to, like, for the tiny pico. You know what I mean? Like, let me just move that for a second. Like, you can go to SparkFun or Adafruit or wherever else and buy all these different, add-on boards and stuff. You can get a microphone board, shield and a audio shield and this shield and an SD card shield and all those different things, and you can kind of build something together. But this is like a full-on, it's like a dream audio board. Like, it's got everything you'd ever want on a board, and you can just plug the Tiny Pico directly in. And I get it's for the Tiny Pico, so that's my motivation to promote it. But at the end of the day, you can definitely wire up any other microcontroller to it. You just can't plug any other micro directly into it, but you can, using DuPont cables, wire any other micro to it, and you could definitely port the code over, or some of it might be hard, but you know what I mean, and get it functioning with that. It's just I don't know. I was just really impressed when Adam first showed me a demo of it, and I'm just extremely impressed with the sound quality out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I played quite a lot with different audio boards, and done some projects with audio with the ESP32, and I've always struggled to get anything sounding really great out of it. So yeah, free steak knives. No free steak knives.
So there's a lot of credit goes to the guys that have written a lot of the MP3 decoding audio. So some of the audio libraries, and built the board on the back of the work of a number of different people. So they've done great work, and it's obviously where credit's due there.
Oh wow, Brian grabbed one. You got to get us in one to Ireland now. So it's been interesting. So poor Adam, he lives in a region of Melbourne where the company that I use to ship stuff, it's called Sendle, to ship things overseas, they don't pick up international packages near him, which means he can't use Sendle. So Adam's been going back and forth to the post office trying to work out how to send stuff overseas, because there's obviously, it's not a thin board, right? By the time you've got the headers and everything else on there, forgetting about the base, it's just thick enough that it almost doesn't. The Australia Post almost won't accept it as a document, like to send it. It's got to fit in the slot, their document slot. And so, yeah, Adam's been stressing a bit about how to send them overseas. So hopefully, no issues.
I got a promise from the local post office that they would accept the thickness of the package, but yeah.
So Paul mentions sell with the headers off. So yeah, I've been speaking to Adam about that. There's no real easy way for Adam to test a board without the headers on there. So
there's a lot of time and effort required to make a test jig. Like, I'm sure everyone's seen Sion's test jigs, and they're incredibly complex and impressive. I could make a simpler version of the test jig, but it's just it's something I haven't had time to commit to. So I basically assemble the board to a complete working state and test it in that way, rather than using a jig, which means that the package is a little bit thicker.
Yeah. It also means that you get a board that's been soldered and cleaned, right? Which is really nice. I'm assuming you're cleaning it. Mine's cleaned, so that's yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, for making 10, 20, or even 50 boards, it doesn't make a lot of sense to make a $200 or $300 test jig, and spend weeks and weeks developing a test jig for that many boards. You could just build those boards in that period of time. So it kind of doesn't make any sense going that route, unless of course you sell stacks and stacks of them, which I hope you do personally. I don't know how you're going to make them, but
you might be able to put me into contact with some of your pick and place friends.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I'd need to sell quite a few to do that, though.
To justify pick and place, yeah, definitely. Yeah, cool. So does anyone have any questions for Adam about the board at all? And by the way, just so quickly before I do that, I just want to say hi to all the people I haven't said hi to, and I've missed you all, so I apologize. Anyone that popped in the chat while we were talking, hi and welcome. Anyone here that's new, yeah, a special welcome to you. Anyway, so has anyone got any questions? Sion and Adam have the same cabinets. Do we have the same? Kind of. Not quite.
I don't think so.
Are yours IKEA ones? Those white ones? Yeah, they're IKEA.
Yeah, they are. My lab is completely decked out in IKEA furniture, so I can burn it and stain it and.
Sure. We have the same size workspaces. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had a tour yet of Adam's workspace. It looks quite large as well.
Yeah, it's 2 bedrooms at the back of my house, and I've removed the wall just behind me here. So was a wall that separated 2 different bedrooms.
Cool. So we'll see if anyone's got any questions. How do you use the memory? Can you play directly from the SD? Yes, you can. That demo I was doing before, the MP3 one, was playing directly from the SD card. Yes. And so I've got a 16 gig SD card. You just so in this case, you just create an MP3 folder and just fill it with MP3s. I made the silly mistake of filling it with WAV files first, and of course it didn't work. But yeah, just fill it and play, and you can just use next track, previous track.
Do you want to just flick to my screen for one sec?
Yep.
So in the code, you instantiate or create. Sorry?
Make your font on the IDE bigger. There's a few people watching on mobiles and stuff.
Good question.
Command plus, or I don't know what it is on the PC. There we go. Bigger.
Seems to be as big as it wants to go.
Cool.
So you basically instantiate a object, call begin, which just initializes some stuff, mute the thing. It supports callbacks. So you basically just have a function up here that gets called every time a button's pressed. And you call scan SD. Scan SD will build in the object a list of all the files that are on the SD card that are MP3 files. And then you basically call play. So
yeah, it's pretty simple. So 2 questions. David Watts just asked where the MEMS is on the board. I'll just show you again, just quickly. So that's that little square just there that I'm pointing to. That's the MEMS mic. It's on the back, and there's a hole where it faces. So it's upside down there, like it's because the MEMS mic's on the bottom of it. So there's a hole in the board. So that's the bottom of the board. Does that make sense? And if you want to know how responsive it is, so this is me hitting play. Oh, my speaker's turned off. One sec. Hello, Mr. Speaker. Don't tell me my battery's gone flat.
Someone asked what the SD card limit is. I'm not 100% sure. It's whatever the SD library supports, but I've got a 16 gig SD card in mine, and it doesn't seem to have any problem with that.
I think my speakers are flat. Hang on a second.
It skips very quickly, though. It's almost instantaneous. Unless it's a really, really, really high bitrate audio, there might be like a slight delay, but it's pretty instantaneous.
Right, here we go. So if you can all hear that, I'm just going to hit next track. Oh, that's a really bad track because it's really soft. And so is that one. So I've got these are all pretty soft tracks. Yeah, bad demo, sorry. Like there's the sound, but yeah, you can't hear it. Anyway, it's really quick. It's like less than a second, probably half a second. And there's also built-in volume. So yeah, anyway, it's really cool.
Digital, yeah, the DAC goes up to 100 kilohertz and 24-bit. I haven't pushed it to that level personally, but that's the specification and capability of the DAC.
So you can display the file. So you get all the MP3 data. Adam's like scraping all the MP3 data, and then you can display it on the LCD or on a TFT or anywhere else that you want to. Like it dumps it to the log as it's loading. And it actually dumps quite a lot of information, actually. I didn't realize there was that much information inside the an MP3 file. It's pretty crazy.
The audio library that I'm using also supports IC stream metadata. So the IceCast streams that a lot of people use, they send additional metadata like station identifiers and information when you're entering an advert, nexting an advert, and those different, commercial information, that sort of stuff as well. So it picks up a lot of data in streams that's not necessarily specific to ID3 files.
I'm just going to, let me just quickly share my screen.
Mako mentioned that there's pictures in MP3 files. There is, but there doesn't seem to be any libraries on Arduino that support images. I do support TFT screen. So I support ILI 9341 TFTs, and just for my own personal desire, I want to support image-based ID3 tags as well.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. So this is the MP3 data that gets pulled up when switch tracks. If I switch another track, you can see how quickly they grab that next MP3. So it's got a full lot of data there. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take me a couple of days. So anyone who is buying one, just be aware that it'll be 3 or 4 days just for me to make and test and get them packed, and they'll probably go out on that 5th day, I'd hope.
Yeah. Man, you're up for a lot of work now.
Yeah, I am.
A lot of work. Yeah.
So it's panelized, and I build 6 at a time, but I'll probably split the panels in half.
Do you think you can really build, like, hand assemble 6 at a time before the paste starts?
No, that's what I was saying. I'll split them in half. I did 2 at a time when we did yours. I'm pretty confident I can do 3 at a time. So
Okay.
I'll just split the panels in half and do 3 at a time.
Just don't stress yourself when you're building them. There's nothing worse. You make mistakes, silly mistakes. So, yeah.
I don't have the precision hands that you have as well. When I watch you on stream, you've got hands like a neurosurgeon.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think I'm just holding my breath. I'm not sure.
If people don't watch me, like,
I'm enjoying the hand assembly. So what was that?
I'm a little shaky. If I was building on stream, I think I'd get a few comments about my hand stability.
That's okay, as long as it works in the end.
It does.
That's fine. Someone's asking about reflow oven and hot air. You got a T962, don't you? T962.
Yeah, so just there, you can just see the edge of it just there.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to hot air one of these. You're hot airing 0402s and stuff is just dangerous. End up with parts all over the place.
So I bought that, and then I learned through Xeon Stream about the alternative firmware for that oven. So I flashed the Swedish firmware onto it, and it's working a lot better now. I got some good tips from Xeon there.
Working better, but still not fantastic. But they're not great ovens. They're really not. So
price for performance, I think they're okay.
Stream audiences are the worst. No, they're the best. Come on. Could you imagine if a neurosurgeon actually held their breath during surgery? Like, some of their surgeries goes for like hours, right? You'd hope that they're not holding their breath that whole time. Sweden for the win. Johnny's in Sweden. Yeah, you wouldn't want to melt the MEMS mark either with the hot air gun. Yeah, like I melted the button on my, well, it's not really melted, but still works. Cool.
While you're doing that, I'll just do one more demo as well. I'll just flash the net radio code to it and hook a TFT up to it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Just to give people an idea of what that's about.
Yeah, I think Adam's PNP setup experiences. God, yeah. It would actually be a really difficult board to build even with a pick and place machine. There's a lot of different components on there. Like, yeah, if anyone wants to like look at the GitHub or even just the website, like, you can see a pretty clear picture of it. There's I mean, one of the 2 challenges I faced with my pick and place machine with the Tiny Pico is, firstly, reliable placement, and there's a lot of components on here that are quite close to each other. But the other one is like having enough feeders for all the different components, and I don't know. Do you know how many unique components you've got on the board?
I was anticipating you asking me that, so I'm just looking it up at the moment.
Okay. I mean, you can always do it in multiple passes, but yeah, it's just tiny, crazy. Oh, we're never playing. So no Crowley today. see if there's got a really nice view out my window. I forgot how nice my backyard was. Well, sometimes.
There's about probably 28 different components, somewhere between 28 and 32.
Wow.
And there's maybe 80 placements on each board, something like that.
Okay. See, that's the problem. So there's no, like, to get a pick and place that can do that many components, like that can hold that many components at once is quite, I mean, the Charm High, the 48 VB, which has the 2 rows of feeders can, but otherwise, even the, larger machine, the $20,000 range of machines, they might have, 30 or 40 slots, but you can't fit, that's only for 8mm tapes. Like once you start putting things that have tapes that are wider for larger components, you start chewing up all your feeder places. So
for me, in an ideal world for me, I guess the best compromise would be something like the assembly service at JLC. And if they did black boards, I could get them to place all of the passives, not have to pay any special feeder costs or anything like that, and then just hand assemble the 5 or 6 ICs that are on there. So I could
how would you do that? How would would you get them to have the pads pre-pasted so they paste them but don't populate them?
No,
you can put paste on those?
You can have a no place, so you can mark parts as no place, from my understanding, and they won't put paste down for those.
Right, but then how are you going to get paste on those afterwards once the board's assembled?
I would probably hot air them on.
But how are you going to get so you're just going to squeeze paste on the syringe? You're not going to be able to
flood the pads with flux, tin the pads, hand place it with tweezers and hot air.
Wow.
So really? almost like rework. So rework those parts. But that would get down to 6 parts rather than placing 80 parts. So even though you're doing those manually and hand tinning them and stuff like that, time would drop from drastically 1/10 of the time to assemble the board.
Absolutely. I mean, I've thought about this myself. Obviously, I can't get JLC to build my tiny picos either because they won't do black, and they obviously won't do double-sided, and my RAM has to go on first. So, but I've been thinking about how would I possibly do it, like on any of my future boards, like my Nanos or my Pro S2. Like there's a whole bunch of parts that they just won't place because they won't source them. They're not available through LCSC. And how would I go about putting the rest of the parts on myself, and would I really want to do that? Because I'm going to get boards back from them that are not penalized anymore. So I've already spoken to them about them doing assembly and giving me the panels back not broken apart, and they won't do that either. So I would end up with, hundreds of boards that I'd have to then reassemble the rest of the parts one board at a time, which would be a killer, right? Like it'd be fine for maybe 10 boards or 20 boards, but not for hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah, I definitely, like for short production runs, like the situation that I'm in, where I'm selling a limited number of boards, but I've got a huge amount of placements. So I think it would work quite well. Like for your situation where you're making thousands of boards, it would be a nightmare.
Yeah. But I was still trying to work out how I could do it, because I'd gladly offload a large portion of the production to JLC PCB if I could. The other option, you've got, like someone was mentioning, did my MEMS boards with a syringe and then into the oven. Yeah, you could always just. So you're talking about still letting them paste it, but not place the part? I don't think they do that. If you mark the part non-place, they won't paste it either. Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would rather it come back with no paste, and that way I could just tin it myself and flood it with flux and hot air it on. Basically, rework the part on.
Yeah. Okay. Because you could probably do that, but not hot air it. You could probably just then put it in the oven and reflow it again. Might work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. No, I applied the paste myself. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
I really want the boards to be black, so I'm a bit of a masochist.
Yeah, the black's really nice, but I'm thinking I really like the red. I've got to say, I wish SparkFun didn't have red, because I feel like if I make a red board, everyone's going to think it's a SparkFun board. Okay, let's look at this demo. Hot plate.
So I'm reluctant to switch the audio on because you'll probably get a copyright strike or a claim or something like that against you. But you can see It's pretty quick. It's running at 22 frames a second, so it's running SPI.
Wait. Sorry, I didn't full screen it. There we go. Now everyone can see it.
So it's blowing out a lot
on the camera, yeah.
So you can have the TFT and the LCD running at the same time. In this particular demo, the LCD scrolls as well, so it's got code in there. I've written like some helper libraries to control the LCD and also to control the TFT as well. Yeah, so you can see it's running quite fast. It's running at 22 frames a second. So it's using like a ESP32 dedicated library for the screen. And yeah, that's pretty much
funny. Yeah, Ezzy, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's playing itself, that chess game. Yellow sucks if you can't get black.
The flashing you can see as well is the background's flashing to pulsing to the music. So it's using the VU meter to feed into the checkerboard. You can't really tell when the music's not playing. It just looks like it's flickering.
Yeah, it looks better in real life for sure. I was going to say something. I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, so yeah, one of the things Adams obviously has to re-implement again is his FFT, and then I've been nudging him to. I want him to build or find a whole bunch of like visualizations, like the ones you get in iTunes or Winamp and stuff. I used to play music. I used to have my computer connected to my TV back in forever ago, playing music at nighttime on my big Panasonic Plasma with just visualizations running all night with the lights off in the house, and it's just awesome. So I want to see visualizations so I can see when I'm listening to my music.
I know the perfect person to do who could do that. Like they're obviously a very busy person, but BitLooney is he's from the demo scene, so he's an ex-graphics coder. Used to do like a lot of like high performance graphics programming, from what I could see when I was did a search on the internet.
Good luck.
Be an ideal person, but I think it's probably a stretch to get him to look at the board.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
But I'll probably, for visualizations, I might pull some code from the demo scene and chuck some on there.
Sure. Cool. As he's saying, don't worry about it. Use red as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with the red. I think the red looks fantastic. I just, oh, how do I? There we go. I just, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to move all my boards to red. I still like black, and it's really expensive to do the like to get two colors made on the same board. So like JLC PCB charge you an engineering fee to set up the Gerbers. So if you order like a bunch of black and a bunch of red just to see the difference, you got to pay the engineering twice, even though it's just a solder mask color change, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, so someone asked about BitLooney's VGA code. Unfortunately, VGA just takes up too many pins. So there's nothing that would stop it from a performance reason, but just from a pin perspective, there's just not a high enough pin count. But GZ's VGA stuff is awesome. Yeah.
So here's Looney's Pico VGA board, and it basically uses every pin on the tiny Pico. There's like nothing free. So there's really no chance of combining the two, unfortunately. No, unless we do two tiny Picos together.
I built a VGA board for the Tindie. So it's like a Tindie 3.6 VGA board. So I've done a little bit of VGA work before, but yeah, it takes a lot of pins.
Yeah, so the problem with the I/O expander, Maxint, is that well, Adam's already got an I/O expander on his board, but they're not fast enough. Definitely not for the VGA side. Like because they're I2C, although you can get SPI versions of them, but they generally only run at the 400 hertz kind of speed, kilohertz speed. So not really fast enough to be doing the VGA, I don't believe.
Yeah, and they're basically digital on, digital off. So it's really a digital I/O expander. There's no analog capability, so you'd be very limited.
Yeah,
like, so you can't do anything.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so you're not going to be able to do any timing or any of the VGA stuff that's sort of necessary with the I/O expander. The expander is really just for buttons and also for LEDs, because everyone loves LEDs.
Everyone loves LEDs. I love LEDs. What? Heard of them via perifract. I don't know what that is. What?
Perifractal's a retro streamer.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So I don't spend enough time on YouTube, obviously.
I spend too much time on YouTube.
Just reading it through the chat to see if we missed anything. Yellow sucks if you can't get black test. You can pick black, can't you?
What was that? Sorry.
White on there. Oh, sorry. Johnny was saying that yellow PCBs suck if you can't get black text, but like when I got my white ones done, they automatically put black text on there. Well, you can't really see. So wouldn't they put black on the yellow and not, or do they do white?
White on yellow is going to be incredibly hard to read.
Yeah. That's why I thought they would have done black.
Johnny said, can you do VGA with a DAC? Yeah, you should be able to do it with a DAC. On whether you can use an I2C DAC and maybe use that to break out some VGA, not 100% sure. As Sion said, it'll come down to the speed of the DAC, and it's not something I've personally done.
It's white on yellow, Brian says. Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah, there's definitely SPI IO expanders for sure. Like, you know, I'm using I2C ones just for convenience because they just need to be digital on and off. They're just designed to be used as basic IO.
Helmuth said SPI IO goes up to 40 megahertz, and that demo that I was showing before with the ILI screen, that was running at 40 megahertz SPI. You can actually push the ESP32, I think, to 80 megahertz out of spec, and it flies. But you can't do that while maintaining proper timing for I2S. So unfortunately, I was stuck at 40.
Right. And those ILI screens are actually only rated officially for 7 megahertz. You know that, right, SPI?
Yeah.
Some people are pushing them to 20, and I've actually got mine running at 32 on my Reflow Master. I think it's 32, but they're not rated for anything over 7. So depending on where you buy those screens from, they might start corrupting data if you push them too fast.
Definitely. I've got 3 here, and one of them doesn't like it at all.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. So what about, you can get multi-channel DACs. So how many IOs would you really need to do VGA? How many pins to do it properly without doing the analog resistor ladder rubbish?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I did this quite a while ago, probably 8 or something like that. A couple of syncs.
Okay, interesting.
Some for color.
I don't think he's finished his light placer yet. He's I was speaking to him the other day. He's got some projects he needs to get out first, and then he'll get back onto the light placer. So not finished yet.
I have a shocking memory. I don't tend to commit much to memory.
I commit stuff. It just doesn't stay. Cool. Okay. That's really cool. So have you got any are there any left, or are they all sold out now? That's pretty fun.
I haven't checked. Haven't been looking.
Okay. Thanks to anyone that's grabbed a picoAudio. My intent wasn't to get everyone here to buy one, although it's fantastic for anyone that does. I just, you know what, it's just a really cool project. I mean, as many of you know, like I'll talk about and showcase anyone's projects that when they build stuff for the Tiny Pico. I mean, obviously BitLooney has with his VGA shield, which I showcased, and Brian's got his Matrix board and his breakout board. And if anyone else is making stuff for the Tiny Pico, I'm quite happy to showcase it. You know, at least put links to your website or to GitHub. Like Alex, actually, Alex, are you still here? So Alex has got his VGA board, his VGA, sorry, try that again, his RGB LED board that he's finished and he's released the files for. But I don't think he's going to be making them and selling them.
I saw that on Discord last week. That looks awesome.
Yeah, so it's using the 1515 RGB LEDs, the addressable LEDs. I can't remember how many he's got on there. Quite a few, actually. So, yeah. Right, here he is, Alex here. So no selling plan. Okay, so we need to work out how we're going to get some made for people. Alex, I'll have a chat with you offline. Obviously, it's your board and your design, and so, yeah, we need to work out. I think there are people that would definitely love one, but won't be able to make one. So we should work out how we can get those to people. And I kind of got that. I mean, I've spoken to a few people about that actually. Just this is maybe a weird conversation. I don't know, but like if anyone is ever in a situation where they have a board or a design that they're making or that they've made for the Tiny Pico, but they can't make themselves, or that they don't want to make themselves, but they want to get them out there for people to use, just speak to me and let me know, and we can work something out about getting them made and getting them out there. It's only 1 hour, but you have to add 30 minutes for idiots on the road. Hey, Ray.
Yeah, through the process, Sion's been incredibly generous with his time and with his expertise. So thanks a lot, Sion. It's been incredibly helpful along the way.
No worries. I'm not sure about the expertise bit, but
I think you're playing that down.
Okay. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Cool. I'm just looking through any other questions. Ray, also from IE. Who is I? Where's IE?
Ireland, I think.
Okay. Isn't it I? Isn't it IRE? Yeah, whatever. Okay, but yes, he is.
I think it's the CC code for Ireland. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's the PCBWay hosted service, but do they do builds or just the boards? Like I know Seed do it as well. You know, like you can get, for those that don't want to make their own stuff, they can do a deal with Seed, and Seed will manufacture them and sell them on their store and give you a pittance for it. So I don't know if PCB do that. PCBWay do that as well. I know that you can sell your boards on there, but I don't know about assembled. But yeah, that could be another option as well. But for those that, yeah, if anyone ever needs a hand building stuff, yeah, just hit me up and we can have a chat. Except for you, Adam, because your boards are just way too complicated. Yeah. Oh, we might have to work something out. Hey, Paul, got a lot of new faces today, I think, which is awesome. So welcome to anyone that's new. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, well, there we go. And you thought we'll have only 5 minutes worth of stuff to talk about, Adam.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Adam was stressing out. Just PCBs, I think, 10% back to the seller.
I'm a YouTube virgin, so this is my first time on YouTube, so I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, it's first time on a stream. You've made a video.
Yeah, well, this week was the first time I've published videos.
Okay. So we were playing around with StreamYard yesterday, just testing everything to make sure it works okay, and all the picture was corrupted and pixelated, and I wasn't sure this was going to work today, but it's worked okay, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, like other than that, I don't really have a lot of other stuff to share at the moment yet. I did print myself a little stand for my displays. It's got a little feet on the back. A little bit of stringy. So as you all know from my last stream, when the wires were held together just by bending them over, I'm slowly putting together a demo to get these done. And Matt has written he's mostly written the RMT library for MicroPython. So I will be able to ship MicroPython library for this as well, for these displays, as well as the Arduino one, which is really exciting. So that's be coming soon as well. You didn't look as good on my 4K TV today. Yeah, it's only 720p StreamYard, it seems. I don't know why it can't output 1080, but it seems to only be 720, which is a bit of a pain. Yeah, Rob's got an interesting point that maybe you could put all the passives on one side of the board, and then all the rest of the stuff you could stencil and do on the other side of the board.
Yeah, definitely. That was something I thought about as well. It seems to be what they're doing in China with the process. Yeah,
it just seems to be a really bad way of having to design just because of a limitation with JLC PCB. Like at some point they will expand their service. They'll offer black. They'll offer more parts. You know, it's and you got to remember that their service is really a prototyping service. It's not designed for manufacturing. So their expectation is that they, you know, whatever you get back, you're going to have to be hand massaging anyway, I would assume. But there are plenty of other PCBA services out there other than JLC PCB. They're just not overly cost effective. Although for your boards they might be, Adam. Except your lead times might be the killer for you, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just typing. Someone asked for a link to the channel. I just responded to them.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, lead times they're not so bad. If you're using their components, like they obviously don't take any custom components or anything like that. So the assembly, I think, turns around really quickly, like within 24 hours after the boards are made.
Yeah, it's very quick. And the people that have been showcasing, I mean, Julian showcased some boards the other day in, was it SDG Electronics, I think it is. Also the other day, showcased some stuff that he got done. I'm trying to think. So there's a few people getting boards made and showcasing. I mean, I got asked a couple of months ago if I wanted to get some boards made to showcase, and I said sure. And then I couldn't find anything that I could get JLC PCB to make for me, because every single board that I'm making right now, every single project I'm working on right now, either had parts they couldn't use, or the boards were a color that they wouldn't do. And kind of that, yeah, was a bit of a bummer. Wow, I'm trying to find in my list of all the. Wow, I'm subbed to so many people. Holy moly! I think I need to do a bit of a clean out, but I think I'm actually. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so there's a few people showcasing the boards. It seems the quality is really good. From JLC PCB, and yeah, like as Simon commented, like some of their parts are really cheap. Like, so the way they do it cheap is they've already got a whole bunch of parts preloaded on their machines. They've got a whole rows of different machines and a whole lot of parts preloaded. And any part that's already on the machine that they don't have to swap out or put in is really cheap for them to place per part. Any part that they need to put on, especially for your job, they charge you a higher rate for. So it's the component plus the rate.
Yeah, when I had a look, some of the passives were actually cheaper than I could buy them directly from LCSC, which I found weird.
Say that again, sorry?
Some of the passives were cheaper than LCSC, even though that's their supplier, obviously, but they were cheaper than I could personally buy them.
Right, because they're buying them like they're placing reels on. So every single thing that they would put on there, their rate would be based on their maximum reel, like the cheapest rate possible. Where unless you're buying them on reels of 10,000, if it's 04 or 2 part, you're paying a higher price for them. It might only be a cent or two, but
yeah, you'd think they'd follow the quantity pricing from LCSC, and so they're not gouging basically.
They're not. The high prices that it looks like they're doing is because they've got a fee to place them, and they are expanding their extended range because they don't cover everything from LCSC right now, but they. Yeah, it's just going to take time. It's, teething issues and stuff.
They have a little search engine which looks very similar to LCSC, where you can look at parts and see whether they're standard or extended.
Yeah, so someone's saying that they're more expensive. I don't think that they're charging more than LCSC are for any components. Can you give me an example? Give us an example, Simon, of a part that is cheaper at JLC PCB than LCSC, because that would be the only reason that would be is like you got to compare the real pricing.
Yeah, I think that's correct, Helmuth. They do charge for all of those extended parts, each individual load. Obviously, someone has to grab a feeder and load the tape and stick them on. So yeah, they're charging a fee for those. As Sion said, I think they'll probably expand over time.
And it's not just that. They're going to load the reel on a feeder. They need to remove a part that's already on the feeder. They have to put that in, program that part on the feeder. So they have to reprogram their pick and place machine for that particular component, right? So that's feed rate, position, calibration for that part. Let me tell you, $3 is nothing. So normally when you go to any type of PCB house, when they run your board as a dedicated board, setup costs can be anywhere between $150 and $500 US for the setup of the board, of the pick and place before they start running it. And that doesn't have anything to do with the parts cost. That's just to load up all the feeders. So I know for me, for my tiny Pico, which has, at the time, it had 32 parts on it, the cheapest setup cost I had for any of the CMs from China for a run was $150 and that was just to load all the parts on the feeder. So $3 per component is really cheap, right? Because that would have been $90 for me.
Like for my board, where maybe 30 of the parts would be sort of extended parts, well, it's about $90. Amortize that over 100 boards. It's less than $1 a board for setup.
Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah. Cool. Internet code for Newfoundland Labrador would just be okay. So we're discussing a manufacturer charges $450 as the startup cost for smaller boards, non-recurring. So it's only a one-off. So if they do a run at another time, they don't charge that again. Johnny, that's interesting. But yeah, so $450 is and that's for a small board. Yeah. I know in Australia, like the killer for me of doing any production in Australia is the setup charge. Right, next one is no charge because they've got all the files and all the calibration. They must be able to swap the parts out pretty quickly though, which is good. Yeah, like if I was going to get my tiny Picos made here, apart from the fact it's going to cost me, between $4 and $5 per board just for the PCBA part, it's $1,500 for a setup of a pick and place run. And that's with me providing all the reels. So if I give a reel of everything that I need for a run, it's $1,500 for them to set that up onto their machine, and then $5 to $6 per board for manufacturing. So
that's a pretty hefty whack.
It is. But obviously labour cost in Australia is kind of different to in China. So yeah. Awesome. So anyone else got any questions or anything? I mean, it doesn't have to be to Adam. It doesn't have to be about picoAudio. It's going to be back to like normal streaming. Oh, hey, Yuz. Welcome to your new and awesome office. Thank you. I haven't done an office tour. I'm going to save that for a video. Flynn. Was that Flynn? Hi, Flynn.
G'day.
Does Mum know you're on her computer, Flynn? That's the question. Yeah, that'd be convenient, like having a shop nearby, having manufacturing. Okay, cool. No, this is not Yuz. It's Flynn. Hey, Wellbot. It's Flynn using Yuz's account. So, and it's not Yuz's stream. No, she can start her own streams. This is my stream. Yeah, I love the convenience of having, well, obviously I've got my own pick and place, but, like if I was going to use a CM, like using a local CM, having someone nearby that you can go and look at the line or check the boards yourself on a run would be super convenient. Like at one point when I thought about getting them made in China, when I thought it was going to be like 1,000 boards, I was actually contemplating flying over to Shenzhen and being there at the end of the run so I could actually see the boards. Hi, Ollie. Good morning. My kids. Precious. My kids are precious. Yeah. It would have cost me too much to go to Shenzhen just to do that, just to be at the end of the line. Because at the end, like it's too late by then, right? Like they've run 1,000 boards. They don't run like one board and you check it and then run the rest. Like they set up to run all the boards. If there's a problem, you live with the problem. If there's a manufacturing problem by them, they'll redo them. But if it's a design problem or something, then that's it. You're stuck. You've already paid for them and you take them home and then you try to fix them. Okay, now Yuz is here.
Hi, Yuz.
Cool. Okay, well, 20 to 8. This is probably one of my shortest streams ever, but I have a lot of work to do. How my colleagues do order the wrong SKUs all the time. So making it in China just wouldn't work. Yeah, like we've all made mistakes, right? With picking the wrong part or the wrong you know, like I did the other day. Like I got, you know, the footprint for an 0603, but I ordered 0402 parts. Like if I would have supplied that and I would have said these are 0402 when they weren't, they would have run them. They probably wouldn't have checked them. They just would have run them and tried to stick 0402 parts on 0603 pads. So yeah, that would have been a nightmare. So, but yeah, good timing, Yaz. Hang on, I don't have any questions except I love the device Adam made. Thanks, Yaz.
Awesome, thank you.
I mean, she doesn't like my tiny picos, but you know, that's okay. But she likes your audio board. That's cool.
One doesn't work without the other.
You missed the movie news, Leo. I've moved from one end of my office to the other end of the office. I've done a complete office workshop remodel, and I'll do a video about them soon. Yes, my 10K resistors, which are arriving today.
You hope.
Third attempt. Yeah.
What's the chance that they're wrong?
Well, unless they packed the wrong thing, they should be the right thing. I triple checked. So, and I had to make sure I got them here before LCSC shut down for their holidays. For those that don't know, a couple of things. LCSC and JLC PCB are closing down 1st of October for holidays. JLC PCB are just for 3 days, but LCSC are for 7 days. So if you get any orders in now, they probably won't get made in time. They may. But if you need any parts, order them now because, yeah, they're going to be shutting down soon. My interior designer, yes, Yaz helped. She helped with the design and layout of my office, and she also helped with the building of my office, which I'm very thankful for. But it was Yaz's idea to set up the desks that I'm sitting at the way they are, and you'll find out what that is soon. So I'll give her full credits in it. Full credits. So if these resistors are right, I'll be able to finally build my I/O expander. Yes, one day. Got a lot of stuff to build. What else
is on your I/O expander, Seon?
There's the 16 digital I/O. There are 4 12-bit ADCs. There's 3 of the tiny pico pins are level shifted to 5 volts if you're running off the USB. So you've got to be careful with those because the 3.3 volt and the 5 volts are broken out. So you've got to just use one or the other. And I'll put that on the card, but people are going to be very careful. There's also an SD card on there, SPI SD card. So you'll be able to use it for storing and logging and stuff like that. And there's a reset button. Yeah, so it's a pretty cool board. I'm really excited to make it. So I just want to quickly share this. So for those that don't know and those that are interested in Python, not MicroPython, but Python. So Microsoft, of all people, have just released I'm just posting a link, a 44 video Python for beginners playlist. And I'm already up to episode 7. It's a bit slow at the start because it's right from the start. What is Python and how do you install it and what things do you need to use with it, like, and stuff. But it seems to be a really thorough. And let me just. I'm just going to go to my here. So this is it here. Like, it's a really thorough list of all the different things for learning Python. And they what they do is they'll go through some like information and syntax and stuff, and then they'll do a demo, and then they'll go through and do some other concepts, and they'll do another demo. So if anyone that wants to learn Python that's been putting it off, you should definitely check out this Microsoft playlist. I'm quite impressed that they've done this. It's really good. So yeah, I just wanted to share that for those that didn't know about it. I'm not sure I'm quite ready to sub to their channel. As you can see, I haven't subbed. I'm not sure if I want to sub, but if you want to learn Python, then definitely do it. Cool. Sorry about that. Oh, wrong button. Okay, the usual trouble with Microsoft is they customize all languages to their own base. No, this is Python. This is not Microsoft. This is straight up Python. They show you how to install it. They show you, I mean, the only Microsoft thing about it is they're doing it in Visual Studio Code, which is a great environment to code with Python. Other than that, yeah, that's it. It's nothing to do with Microsoft. It's just all about Python. It's very cool. Teach your kids Python. Yes, teach your kids Linux. Apparently that's what we have to be teaching our kids now. Okay, I'm back to waffling. So is there anything else? Anyone? No, sorry, really weird stream today. I know. It's I'll get back to my usual stuff.
Yeah, apologies for hijacking your stream, and thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to show the board.
No, it's great. So just for those of you that want to know, like Adam and I have been talking about doing this for a while. It was going to possibly be last week, but I couldn't do it. Paul's back and caught up. Yay, the board does look great. It's a fantastic board, folks. I thought it was definitely worthwhile doing a shared stream. And I haven't done one of these before. I mean, I've only done one with, obviously, Brian. But now that this setup is kind of working, I can do them more often. Maybe we'll have some, other than Yaz, we'll have some guests on here in the future. That'll be cool. I wonder who we can get.
And thanks everyone in the YouTube chat for the positive comments. It's really appreciated.
Cool. And thanks for everyone who grabbed one of the boards.
Until now, Simon's pretty much the only person who's seen it, so it's great to get some feedback and see how people are responding to it.
Yeah, I think for a while people might have thought it was vaporware. Well, vaporware?
I had some problems. I went through 2 spins of the board, so I thought I was ready to go, and my initial run of the board was just, I had a couple of design issues.
Brian says it's too expensive to get. I don't know. Yeah, can you get Julian as a guest? Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that if Julian's up for it one day. Hey, for those that don't know, Brian's about to hit 10,000 subs. Everyone here is subbed to Brian, right? If you haven't subbed to Brian, that's Brian Locke. Could be link address. I'm just going to post this thing here. I don't know why I'm doing this. You all sub to him anyway, but if you're not, let's get him over 10,000 subs. Come on. Where's he up to? He's really close. I was hoping I'd get to 7,000 before you get to 10,000, but it didn't happen.
I was so hoping Julian was going to be here so I could show him my vocoder.
Oh, maybe we'll send him a link. Why? Can I just ask a question? Why is the subscription list in YouTube not in alphabetical order? Anyone know? It's ridiculous. Sorry. Having a whinge. Makes it very hard to see stuff. He's at 9.26. 9,260 something because of the rounding, right? Everyone should sub twice. Can you round it? Can you sub twice? Anyway, let's get him to 10,000. That's really cool. I'm never going to catch him. I thought I would. I'm never going to catch him. Anyway. Okay, let's wrap this up. Adam, thank you very much. Community, Thank you very much. Thanks for welcoming me, Adam. And thanks for accepting this weird stream setup.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Sion.
No problem. I look forward to showing everyone my new workshop soon once I finish cleaning it up. And on Fire Sticker shows the first few as your latest subs. No, these are not latest. Like Brian's 6 on the list, but I've got, Julian is above Brian. How does that work? I've been subbed to Julian longer than I've been subbed to Brian. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling again. Bye everyone. Have a great day. Have a great sleep.
Leon, maybe I might play you out with the picoAudio.
Okay, well you get that started while I say goodbyes. Do my goodbyes. That'd be cool. Those are going to sleep. Have a great sleep. Going to work. Sorry. And catch you all next week. Bye.